Okay, once you unpack your computer, it's going to come to you in typically 2 or probably 3 boxes. You'll find a monitor, you'll find a keyboard, find the mouse, you'll find the computer itself, you'll find a backup disk for the computer, you'll find a couple of beige cables, and you'll find an interface box. Okay, to connect all of this is really quite straightforward. Let's start looking at the back side of the computer. There's a power connector cable that goes from the power supply to the computer. There's a cord that comes from the monitor, and it's color-coded blue, and that goes to, there's only one place that'll plug in. There's a second power cord that plugs in on the back side of the monitor, and that plugs into power. This power strip is not provided with the machine, but that's a good idea to get one of those. Okay, there's a cord that comes from the mouse. That's a USB. Notice that it's got a thick part and a thin part. Just line that up. It'll go into any one of the USB connectors. Makes no difference which one. Same kind of connector from the keyboard. Thick end, thin end. Plug that one in. Last connector onto the computer. One of the beige cables, you'll note, has a 24-pin connector. Sort of looks like a printer port. That plugs in to the matching place. There really is only one place for most of these connectors to plug in, so there's not much to it. Once I get things connected in, go ahead and tighten all the little knobs up. Okay, next are the connections to the interface box. You notice that there's 2 different ends to the interface box, both different connectors. We do this on purpose. Just find the end, properly fits into the connector, plug that in, clip, clip. On the other side, same thing. There's only one end. Be careful with these. They're not exactly delicate, but they have to be plugged in just right. And then the last end here, there's 24 pins on that one too. That's going to plug in. Oh, here's the clips on that. That's going to plug in down on the electrical cabinet. There we go. All right, one last connection that we have to make. We want to make certain that there's a common ground between the computer and the machine. So we're going to make a ground wire. The wire starts out as a 16 gauge MTW stranded wire. We have it green because it's a ground, and we've put a solderless connector on the end. Now we want to connect it to one of the screws on the back chassis of the computer. So we can create that ground there. Any one of the screws that it'll fit that's convenient for you will work just fine here. And let's show you where the other end connects. On the electrical cabinet, you'll see that that ring terminal on the end of the wire, that's on the terminal right there. So we're going to connect that with the little bolt provided. Let's make sure that we have a common ground between the machine and the computer. There we go. Okay, so there's a few extra little pieces we'd like you to get. This is a USB memory stick. This is going to be how I transfer programs from my programming station into my machine. Just going to plug that in. That's how I'm going to move programs in and out of the computer using that memory stick. Okay, so to turn it on, find the power button on the computer, find the power button on the screen, and it should power right up. A few things about running the computer in the machine. We certainly do not want this computer connected to the internet because we actually use the Dell processor for motion control on the machine. We don't want to share the processor time with any other programs. So it's certainly allowable to have other programs on the computer, but not running at the same time that you're running the machine. You can have your programming software here and program, but you have to turn that program off before you run the machine. All right, so when you power it up, you should see a screen that looks very much like this. You'll find icons here with the model number for your machine, and that's how we're going to start.